So today we mostly talked about a basic step, and we talked about several landmarks that I like to go through when I'm trying to work on this slowly on my own time, and then when I'm practicing normally, whatever happens, happens. But in my solo time, I try and be really methodical about my weight transfers, my basic step. Starting with step 1, a projection. So before I go forward, I don't want to just fall onto the splits. I will decide where I want my step to go, and then slowly roll my way onto that foot. So I'll always have something on the ground to transfer onto, rather than kind of falling through the air onto that foot. So whatever's comfortable for me, it's usually a little bit smaller, just whatever I can get from my normal posture. But some people will also really squat into this, or slide onto it to get more distance or energy. The next thing, for posture, I try and keep my body completely upright and something neutral. So a lot of times we'll come with a bit of a forward chest or with a bit of a slouch in our postures from either life or from other dances, and we try and bring that back neutral for a Zouk. And then from there, I have just a little bit, tiniest amount of bends in my hips and my knees to just give me a little bit more freedom of motion in my joints. And to find that amount, I try and think of a deadlift, of that moment where you're about to lift something heavy up. You don't come forward with your chest, you always lift with your back. So we're already familiar with the sensation of coming down and having our body aligned when we're thinking of deadlifting or picking up furniture or something like that. So I just have the tiniest bit of getting ready to lift something, only a centimeter or millimeter of movement into my body, so not much, to free up my hips a little bit. From there, projects, this rolling motion. I come from the points on my forward foot and roll that down to be the full foot. As my weight comes forward onto that leg, the back foot does the opposite. So the heel peels up off the ground. So I go from toe on the ground with just the forward foot, toe on the ground with just the back foot. And I do this Indiana Jones switcheroo, try and make this as smooth as possible as I'm rolling from forward to back. I try and keep my feet sort of on rails. I will squeeze my butt together just a little bit to find this turnout in my feet. So not directly straight, but just the smallest amount of angle makes the balance a lot easier. Pick a line directly in front of me. When your ball is there, it might be tempting to kind of come around them and step off the line, but it really just makes our bodies end up colliding worse. So I will be going through my partner as if they were there by projecting forward and then rolling onto it. And it really doesn't take a lot of visual cues, it doesn't take force to make this happen. So if I'm with my follow and we have no space at all and her eyes are closed, just me starting to make this transfer, and you can start to see some movement out of Kara. So what this does is it forces our follow to feel where your weight is rather than try and look at what you're doing. We also discussed some common pitfalls that can mess up your dance posture. So as we have our hips back or our hips forward, it really changes the whole dynamics of how your hips move and how they can come forward or back. And one easy way to end up in one of these silly positions that if you look at it on its own, you would never do that, but when you're in a dance, if you look at your feet, you're in this position immediately. So that's why we emphasize so much looking up, especially when you're trying to figure out a movement. Looking down at your feet is just a way to sabotage yourself. Taking these principles in our basic step, we applied them to a few variations on it. So we can have enough force to take one step and kind of rock off the next one. So just enough force to come over this first step. And we can do a little bit less, a little more controlled, and we can take just one step forward or back with a partner. We find our connection, and we can take just a step back, basic. Just a step forward, and basic. Likewise, we played with putting a little bit more energy with this. So instead of energy for 2 steps, like our basic, we can put enough energy for 3 steps. Balanco. And when we do this, when we arrive at our destination on this very last step, we have so much less time to reverse the direction because we spent a whole other step going forward instead of preparing for backwards, that when we arrive here, we really need to be preparing to come back the other direction immediately. So I do that by, as I'm arriving here, I start to come down this leg, I absorb the energy forward, down to the ground, and I start to project the direction that I want to go afterwards immediately. That way I can go straight back into my Balanco. Same thing going forward, where I sink into the ground and I project. Slow, quick, quick, slow, quick, quick, slow, quick, quick, slow, quick, quick, basic, quick, quick, slow, Gostosinho. Quick, quick, slow, quick, quick. It all happens on the same time, with variations on energy, on the same smooth weight transfer. That was all for today.